Well, hello. It's time for another exciting episode of Pens in Use. This is the show where I talk about the fountain pens and inks I've been using throughout the week. So, let's dive into it. If videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens both new and old, and at all price points, I would invite you to subscribe. And hey, as a topic, I've got a few small ones, nothing real big, but one of the surprises for me, you can see me looking down, I'm looking down at some yellow legal paper. Whoops. And it's all on the floor now. Okay, legal paper. There it goes again. Anyway, do you ever slum it with your fountain pens? Or do they only kiss the best quality of papers? Let us know down in the comments. So let's take a look at some pens, and we'll talk about slumming it after the pens. So these are the pens that I've been using this week, from left to right, as my daily writer. Oh, they're not perfect. As my daily writer, I have my Cross Wanderlust. I have, not as a daily writer, as a pen that stays pampered at home, I have my Pelikan M1000. I have a Kaweco Dia 2, Omas Ogiva Cocktail, Geha Boy. I have a Delta Dolcevita Masterpiece. Got some fun with that coming. I have a PenBBS, forgot its number, just a second, look at my list and I'll remember it. 355. And finally, a Geha 708. As always, I'll be reviewing this in my jellyfish-flavored cognitive surplus notebook. And I'm just going to mention, and I will try to remember to put a link in the video description down below, but an ink guy did a review of the paper that Cognitive Surplus uses, and he looked at it in the form of a number of notebooks. So check that out. This is the good paper. You might remember we went through that on this channel a couple of years ago. All right, so my first pen became my daily writer this week. I just decided, what am I doing here? I don't know what I'm doing. But besides that, we all know that. I decided I didn't want to ink up my Lamy 2000 until I ran out of my Omas Black. And I'm getting... Something just fell in the kitchen. I'm just not going to think about it. Anyway, I'm getting there, but I'm not there yet. So anyway, I just thought, well, we'll use some other pens, because I do have some very nice daily writer type pens that just don't get a chance to get used much. And this is one of them. So I like the pattern on the Cross Wanderlust. You know, it's Antelope Canyon, which, if I remember right, is a very narrow sandstone canyon. Haven't been there. The nib, nothing super special, I guess. Take a quick look here up close, because with this camera I can. Yeah, so this is the Cross Wanderlust. Of course, I have a medium nib. See, isn't that a nice daily writer? I think so. And the ink in it is Omas Black. So, Omas Black isn't that special of an ink, honestly. It's a black. I found in some of my pens it's a little too thick and it doesn't let the bubbles come up from the feed. Hasn't been a problem in this pen. Wasn't a problem in the Lamy 2000, but there are pens where it's a problem. Make of that what you will. But Omas Black. Then we have the lovely Pelikan M1000. I did a whole thing last week about how the clear part of this finish is disappearing. Maybe it already has. Maybe somebody could tell me that. But anyway, a special something about Pelikan that's going away, and that makes me sad. So this is a Pelikan M1000. Mine has a medium nib. I've always wanted a fine nib. Someday I'll feel like I can justify one. The ink in it is Pelikan 4001 Violet. And this is the last of that ink that I own. Do not fear that this channel is done with violet inks. I have one or two more. Three more, waiting in the wings. So you will see violet on this channel for quite some time to come. And then I get to pick my favorite, but this is definitely a contender because it behaves so well on just about any paper. Alright. Then we get the Kaweco Geha. You know what? Let's do a nib close-up. I mean, I've got this fancy-dancy camera. Giddy up. So, fun fact, I edited a video together this week about my PenBBS, Mahjong V60. And the problem I was having is I couldn't edit it on Camtasia. Like, the part with me, it was just zooming in on my chin, and I'm like, okay, I've got my chin isn't horrible looking, but I took a lot of video, and no matter what I could do, I couldn't get it to edit. I restarted the computer, everything. So I edited it. I forget which of you, as one of you told me about DaVinci. And I had installed it. I've used it before on this channel just to remove some shake from a video where it was really windy, and I just couldn't get even on a tripod at the lowest level and hidden and sheltered, I couldn't there was still too much wind. Those of you doubting me, come to North Dakota, experience the winds. Those of you unfortunate enough to be stuck in the fires of California right now have some idea the type of wind I'm talking about. But anyway, so I had used it before for that. Sorry, talking, I forgot what the ink was. Have a notion of the type of wind we get that's just like normal here in North Dakota. And on that note, I will just say how awful I feel for those people. We actually had much smaller than LA, but a town near where I live had a number of homes burned down because of a fire that got going out in the prairie. Same thing, high-speed winds. And it just swooped through the town and took out houses left and right. And I don't know if there's any words of comfort you can offer to somebody who has just seen their whole life, because that's what it is, go up in smoke like that. So if you have the ability to help, please help. If you have something constructive to say, be constructive. If you have only internet gossip, give it a miss. Do some research. Learn what's really going on. Stop listening to the talking heads. Alright, so this is my Omas Ogiva. This has already been writing with it because I love it. It has a nice Omas extra flexibile nib. Oh, come on. I can get about 1 centimeter away from this lens. So here's a fun fact. When I did my V60 video, somebody commented that it looked like I was holding up a rocket, and that has to do with the distortion you get from a lens that's capable of doing what I just did there. I'm laughing because clearly whatever ink was in this last wasn't properly cleaned out, because that's really not the color of this ink at all. I'll show you what it looks like here in a minute, but oops, sorry. medium, extra flessibile. So this is an interesting cat vomit color. So this is Sailor, Jentle, Apricot. What's that, you say? Yeah. So, I clean my pens. I'm not obsessive about it. If a little ink remains behind, well, whoopsie. Apparently more than a little ink got left behind here. So you're all saying, well, what's that supposed to look like? So allow me to flip back a page to where I was using it. There. Oh, and I smeared a little. There, in another Omas pen. Quite a color difference because of whatever is still in that pen. And I know some people are very obsessive about how clean they get their pens, and I'm not. Fun little quirk we have here, even if it's cat vomit orange. Oh, we want to look at the boy. So this is our boy, Geha boy. I mentioned 1 week recently about kanaba was the word I learned for boy. I'd kind of forgotten I'd also learned the word junge. And kanaba is actually kind of an old-fashioned word, like using like the word lad. But doesn't matter because the pen is not a junge or a kanaba. It's a boy. Geha boy. And steel nib, as I've mentioned before, sometimes I make the mistake of saying, well, don't expect much flex because it's a steel nib. Well, there you be. There's some flex from a steel nib. And I'm not really pushing it at all. And there's another ink I really like. I have one bottle of turquoise left after this one. It's a bottle of Sailor. I think it's called Sky Blue. Anyway, I'm looking forward to using it. And then I get to pick my favorite. Well, I'm not going to pick the Sailor because Sailor doesn't make it anymore except releasing it occasionally as a special edition. I like this one. It looks good. It's good on low quality paper. And it's cheap. I mean, I guess I could try Pelikan. Oh, who else makes turquoise? Somebody else, I'm sure, makes turquoise, but anyway. So, my video on the Omas V60 brought up some interesting discussion about, some people, you shouldn't even review this pen because it's a knockoff of a much better pen, and okay. I don't want to get into that argument right now, but the more interesting thing that came up is what about the new Omas? So this is a Delta from before Delta went out of business, and now Delta has been resurrected. Is it the same company? Well, I don't have a good answer to that. I'm just going to admire the finish for a minute, and then we're going to open it and look at the, oh dear God, what is that? Oh yeah, did you forget that Delta did that thing? Where they laid a piece of gold over a steel nib and said, look, it's going to make the ink flow better. Okay. So they can charge me gold nib prices, Dolcevita, for a steel nib with a little hunk of gold on it. It's called a fusion nib, if you're interested. I have never seen a convincing argument that it works. I've never seen a convincing science. Mostly I bought this pen because I was able to get it at low cost, and I thought, as a curiosity for future generations, wondering what do desperate companies do To stir up interest, they glue a hunk of gold to their nib, and then they go out of business. There's more to them going out of business than the nib, of course, but there used to be a whole blog about these kind of things. It was called Pen Economics, but that hasn't been active for a while. I'm not a bad writer, but hardly worth the price that I should have paid for that pen. It's not an amazing writer either. Alright, so my next pen, I'm kind of amazed how empty this next pen is. Okay, I'm trying to straighten this. You don't know this, but my view of this is upside down. Okay. Anyway, this is a pen that I had just inked up last week before I filmed, because I wanted to have 8 pens, and I've made a good dent in it. I'm a little sad about making that good dent, because this is the last of the ink that's in it that I own. So PenBBS, I mean, I can buy more. I might eventually. So it's a PenBBS 355, and as you can see, no, is not a PenBBS nib. That's a Nemosine nib, and it looks an awful like there's a 0.6 there, right where the nib meets the section. Because yes, that's a 0.6 nib. It's a stub nib. Because Nemosine made some uncommon sizes. So the ink in it is Krishna, Ghat green. I think it's quite attractive. And from the pictures I've seen, I had a family member was actually in India recently, and he got to see the Ghats of India. And we have a couple of viewers here from India, one of whom has sent me some pictures of his hiking in the Ghats of India. And all I can say is, wow. Especially the ones my relatives sent. Just like, okay, doesn't look like that in North Dakota. So it goes. Alright, then we have, this is Geha 708. Still inked up. We're getting low. I'll be surprised if it's here next week, but it could be. You know, nice cute little nib. I guess if it runs low, I can press the button and get some more ink. So, Geha 708. Don't know a nib size. And the ink in it is surprisingly nice smelling. Atramentis. Red roses. I don't usually go for scented inks. Like, it's not something that really super appeals to me. But it's kind of a nice surprise with this one. This one and Apple Blossom are two that I've liked from Atramentis. Fur is an okay one. Some of the others, like there were some whiskey-themed ones or wine-themed ones that I didn't particularly care for. Maybe I'm not enough of a drinker. I don't know. The violet one is a nice color, but the smell does nothing for me. Blackberry does nothing for me. But some of the smells are spot on, and this is one of them. So one of the things that's coming up, I've got white outside. I got snow. And I'm still recycling the same 3 video clips from when I just had a tiny bit of snow. Why? Because it's been cold and snowy and blowy, and so when I can actually get out of the house to get somewhere even slightly photogenic, I am okay with going behind the grocery store and filming there just to get some winter footage, but every time I'm out there, it's dark because, I got a job, and by the time I can get away from my job, it is dark. In fact, I didn't even grocery shop this week, so there is that. But anyway, I've been failing to get winter footage, so I'm hoping I've got an obligation on Saturday. So what I'm hoping to do maybe is get up early, get some winter footage as the sun's coming up. I don't want to go out too far. I mean, I thought about going up to, we've got a park nearby that's forested. There's forests in North Dakota. Don't let the people make you believe otherwise. But I was thinking about going up there and getting some snow footage and stuff. And then I thought, or not. So I'm probably going to go closer to home. But not too far away is the highest point in North Dakota. No, I'm not going to climb it in this weather because it's going to be around 0 degrees Fahrenheit when I do this. So, yeah, I don't do climbing then, even though it's not exactly mountain climbing because it's North Dakota. I'm not climbing that. But I think I can get some good footage and photographs around there while the sun's coming up. That's the plan anyway. It's close to home. So we'll see what happens. The other alternative is south of me there is a lake. Maybe I can do something with that, but I'm not as sure about being able to get access to the lake in the winter, although I think people ice fish, but I don't know. I don't ice fish, so to me, why go to a lake in the winter? There's nothing to see or do there in the winter. But anyway, so I am working on getting some winter footage. So I hope next week I have something and a little bit of different wintry driving footage for you. I have shared photographs of North Dakota before, and I do a lot more sports photography and event photography, but I do landscapes also. I enjoy that. I'm not good at it, but I enjoy it. And people are always like, I thought you lived in North Dakota. How come you don't have many snow pictures? Well, because in the winter it's cold, and the wind blows, and there's snow, and travel isn't so great, and a lot of times I just stay home when there's snow. And the battery dies on my camera really quickly because it's cold. So, we'll see if I can get some winter footage built up anyway for pens in use. Doing the whole 4K thing, because why not? So, gotta charge this battery afterwards because it's about 25%. Actually, I'll tell you, one of my things I like when it turns out is I love getting footage or photographs when it's bright and sunny out and then you have that nice snow. But man, that's hard. Because usually the snow just blows out everything because the snow is so overexposed in order to get the rest of the stuff properly exposed. But when I get it to work, it's magical. But doing it in the morning or in the evening is another way to do it. And if all goes well, I won't have time in the evening on Saturday to do it during sunset. So I'm going to try sunrise. Because there are actually two golden hours during the day for photography when the shadows are long and the colors are nice. That's in the morning and in the evening. And you get the nice blue hour before the sun really truly comes up and for a little while after the sun goes down. So you got that too to work with. Just have to get up on a day when I can sleep in a little bit. So in other exciting news, I have been working on my idea capture video. I thought it was going to come out this week, but it won't. Or didn't, I should say. I actually am taking my own advice, which I don't know if I put in a video yet, but it's my own advice. If you have a written thing, one of the things you should do is let it sit. Because then you can look at it with fresh eyes. As it's sitting, new ideas might occur to you. You can run to it, scribble them in the margin. I didn't do that with my planner video, and I kind of wish I would have. So I'm taking a little while with this. I need to get these further out. I'm not sure how likely that is to happen. But anyway, but it's been kind of fun to look at my own tools as I make this script. One of the things that's come up with it is I capture ideas, archiving them, storing them so you can retrieve them later. And I realized that, yeah, that's an area I'm still working on. Think of that what you will. And this whole knowledge management thing has led me... I've been good, but it has led me to the edge of a rabbit hole. I don't know if you've ever fallen down a rabbit hole, but I'm kind of falling down a research rabbit hole. I ran into something interesting called I'm going to mispronounce it and I don't care. Zettelkasten, or Zettelkasten, or Zettelkastan, or something. Anyway, it's a note card knowledge management system. And so I've also been reading a little bit about some electronic solutions like Obsidian. But anyway, get back to the Zettelkasten, or however you say that. I was going to look it up before doing this video, and I forgot till I started saying the word. I'm like, shoot, how do you say that? But I've got some articles and things, and one or two books? 2 books, I think, that cover the topic. One of them is Umberto Eco's... Can't read the title from here because there's a book laying on top of it. But Umberto Eco wrote a book about writing a thesis, and he's got a lot about note cards in it. So I'm I'm reading that. And then I've got another one I got for free by a guy who's trying really hard to market himself. I won't mention his name because I was kind of mean there. But anyway, it's called Antinet and then Zettelkasten. That one's kind of rough to get into because it's a lot more salesmanship, which I'm not interested in. But anyway, so it's verging on being a rabbit hole. So I have to watch so I don't fall down this research rabbit hole and actually stick to my external brain topic that I've been slowly working on ideas for and videos for. And on that note, yes, that was cheap yellow legal pad paper. Crappy as heck. I'm going to say heck, because who knows who's watching this, even though I've sworn plenty on these videos. But very crappy paper. I pulled out this legal pad a couple of weeks ago. I don't even remember why anymore. I just remember I pulled it out for a video because I wanted something cheap to write on. That was what sprang to mind. And it stayed out. And as it sat out, I started writing with it. You know, at first I was using because I still had my Pilot Custom 823 inked up, so I was writing with that, and my gosh, that paper would suck the ink out of that pen. It does that for every pen I write on it with it. But I also discovered it's very freeing to write on this paper. I dare I say, enjoyed it. I'm not writing finished material. I'm not writing even archivable material. I'm writing slop. Random ideas splashed all over, not even organized. Sometimes a really rough outline of what I'm going to say. A really rough outline of other stuff. Like a thumbnail of a history, some sketches. I like it. I've been filing it in different folders, knowing that it's just temporary and that I'm just going to toss the paper or recycle it. I've been kind of wondering if paper that's been written on by fountain pens is suitable for composting as a carbon source in your compost. But anyway, if you know something about that, let me know. But anyway, turns out that cheap paper and fountain pens work really well together. You know, when you're brainstorming, I did subject one of my pen pals to 3 pages of this. 3 pages because I could only write on one side. But I guess I'm slumming it using this paper, but dang, it's nice. I just relaxing, write. I'm not even going to think about writing on the back because everything becomes illegible then. These pages are quick to rearrange. There's just this wide natural margin on one side for me to add notations. And this tablet, it's actually letter-sized legal paper, if that makes sense. So it fits in my file cabinet, in my files, and in my binders, and all that. Again, not archived material, just temporary. I really like it. And it reminds me of some of the brainstorming I used to do a lot with number 2 pencils. But I get to use a fountain pen. So, I guess you get the joy of the fountain pen writing using the tool without, worrying about your handwriting. Oh, the so precious paper. Oh, look at the delicate shading with this ink on that paper. No, we're not worried about that. We're not even worried about archiving, or really much of anything else, just getting that slop out on the paper. And if you're like me, a lot of what comes out of your pen is slop, and it's finding the diamonds in it that makes it all worthwhile. So I guess I have a gold mine of slop here. Look for my diamonds in the gold mine. Wow, I mixed a bunch of metaphors together there. But that brings me to my question. Do you slum it with your fountain pens, or do they only kiss the best of papers, the best of inks? I'm kind of curious. Let me know down in the comments. And hey, if you've got some ideas about archiving ideas, feel free to mention them, because I haven't filmed. I've just written a script for that video so far. So I'd love some ideas for archiving the ideas that you come up with. Oh, okay. In my defense, it's 9:12 p.m. I really don't need to be in bed yet, but sure would be nice. I actually wanted to read a little tonight, but I got to edit this together, so I probably won't. But anyway, I want to thank you for watching. And if videos like this interest you, where I talk about fountain pens both new and old and at all price points, I would invite you to subscribe. And hey, do you ever slum it with your fountain pens? Do they ever go out on that low quality paper and you do it on purpose and you kind of like it? Let us know down in the comments. This is a safe place. And when you have those ideas that strike you and you write them down, like a scrap of paper or your pocket notebook or whatever, how do you archive them long term so you can find them later when you feel like you can build something out of them? Let us know that down in the comments. So, I really don't know what road footage I'm taking you out with, but we're going to go out on some road somewhere. So, I want to thank you for watching. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.